The bearish case here for the week ahead is that we're still in this trend here, right? We haven't broken out of this trend. This hasn't broken yet. We're at the top of it. So it could always turn and fall down, right? Especially as we take a look at what's going on for this week. The target price is likely to be 115.7. All right? That means the bias, guys, is for the price to pull back over here. Does it have to pull back to there now? No. Just like we saw before, it could take a couple of weeks before it returns there if the price keeps moving up. But it could happen this week. The healthiest move is for it to happen this week, especially on Monday or beginning of Tuesday. That would be the best idea here, that the price falls 2.5% down to the 115.7 level. That would be ideal for a bullish move. So you wouldn't be shorting here unless you want to risk that. What you would be doing is adding a limit order down here at 115.7 to grab it as we make a move back up. There are things to look forward to this week. So let's reset. The pattern that we just had for the last week is a crazy bullish pattern, right? Because instead of hitting the 116.4 level right away, right? Remember I said the worst thing that could happen is that this price just breezes up. If it just went straight up without coming down, that would have been a problem. Mm-hmm. What we had was on Marauder Monday, which did extend into Tuesday. Remember Marauder Monday, which is the price, whatever Bitcoin does on Marauder Monday, generally speaking, it does the opposite for the next week. But Marauder Monday can extend into Tuesday. And really under some circumstances Wednesday, but I've seen that rarely, but usually until Tuesday morning. And right at noon on Tuesday, that's where the price fell down to the daily level here at 113. All right? So that, because we didn't actually hit the weekly target first and we first went down, this was hella bullish. Plus, you can see here that the actual low that hit there the day before, or 2 days before, was not only near the trend line, but directly on one of our wave levels. These are long-term trend wave levels. Super, super bullish over there. So we've got a bounce up, a pullback. The pullback was a higher low, right? There's a higher low versus the lower low over here. So again, another thing that's super bullish. And we crossed through two daily levels. This was a daily level over here that we didn't really talk about, which was at 113.7. And then this level over here at 113. So all these things happened together. The price pulled back into this deep, deep supportive zone and then launched up, which is what we want to see. Whenever we want to see the price climb up a bullish trend, this is what we want to see. And when we want it to fall down a bearish trend, we want to see this happen in reverse. It's like taking a step one at a time. You don't want to take them 2, 3 steps at a time, because then you could really tumble. All right? Now, if we take a look at the last time we saw this type of pattern over here.
Just before you do that, are we talking about the upcoming trade or the previous trade? It sounds like we're talking about the previous week right now.
I was just setting up the previous week so I could talk about the upcoming trade right now.
All right, so let's just finish up with the previous week.
Yeah, I'm done with the previous week. Now we're talking about the next week, but that pattern that we just went over, the stair-stepping, we've seen this before. So for example, over here, let's see if it's a little bit clearer. Over here, we had the price. This was back in June 23, where the price fell here. You guys remember this? People calling for the end of the cycle? People are always calling for the end of the cycle. Let's just hide the trend here, make it a little bit easier to see. And let's hide the dailies. So here we had the price of Bitcoin that fell to this level over here of 99. You guys who watch the stream, you remember the 99 level from the past. And I said that because when we blew up, we didn't touch the 99 level, right? This was for weeks we hadn't touched the 99 level. There's a high likelihood that we're to come back to that level, which is exactly what we did eventually. Now, once we cleared it, then we were off to the races, right? We're off to the races, just like before when we're down here at the 74 level. Once we cleared it, we're off to the races. And we just did that again. The price moved up beyond, came back down to the weekly level, and now is launching up from over there through a massively supportive range. So the likelihood now that we get a step change where the price goes well above the previous high is significant. Over here, if we take a look, measure from the lows, the high ended up being about just about twice as high as the drop that we had in, right? This drop that we had over here, it's about twice as high to get to the next one. That's generally what we see. Over here, the drop in to the next high, this high over here was about, right, actually more than twice the level, but you get the move up that's proportional to the drop that you had. And over here, in the cup and handle that we're in right now, or what could be seen as cup and handle, we have this drop from the low here. Our midpoint could be the lowest part of the midpoint would be over here. We can get to 123, 125 in no time. Right? So we're really just halfway through this move up, because we can get straight up here in order to cross this all-time high and double the depth that we're in. So to me, seeing 125 would be a no-brainer to see that pretty soon, that we're in that process right now, and that process tends to accelerate afterwards. We tend to get a massive move up. We're not even in the parabolic move just yet. So there's tons of upside potential. Now, the bearish case here for the week ahead is that we're still in this trend here, right? We haven't broken out of this trend. This hasn't broken yet. We're at the top of it. So it could always turn and fall down, right? Especially as we take a look at what's going on for this week. The target price is likely to be 115.7. All right? That means the bias, guys, is for the price to pull back over here. Does it have to pull back to there now? No. Just like we saw before, it could take a couple of weeks before it returns there if the price keeps moving up. But it could happen this week. The healthiest move is for it to happen this week, especially on Monday or beginning of Tuesday. That would be the best idea here, that the price falls 2.5% down to the 115.7 level. That would be ideal for a bullish move. So you wouldn't be shorting here unless you want to risk that. What you would be doing is adding a limit order down here at 115.7 to grab it as we make a move back up. If that doesn't happen and we continue to move up, then you're going to be looking for a top and pattern for later on for the price to fall. But we'll see how the weeks look like as they develop. So right now, for next week, if you want to take the short trade, which I don't recommend, but if you did want to take the short trade, it would be from the price where we are right now down to 115.7. If you want to take the long trade, it would be an order 115.7 up. All right, makes sense, everyone?
Makes sense. And the lower your entry is when you're going long, the more you can withstand the turbulence of the market. If you go long, if your idea is to take the long now from where we are right now, then you increase the likelihood that you get shaken out, liquidated, if it drops by 2%. Do I have that right?
That's right. Now, since this drop here is less than 2%, it's only it's above 2%. If you go long here because you're FOMOing into a long, you make it far more likely that you're going to get liquidated. So you might say, hey, Tom, but I don't want to miss it.
If you're trading 50x.
If you're trading 50x leverage. If you're trading 50x leverage, you could only suffer a 2% drawdown. If you're trading 25x leverage, you could suffer a 4% drawdown. All right? So I would not recommend it in here now for long. And you might say, hey, Tom, but what if I missed the whole move up? Well, that's just what it is. You can FOMO in if you want to, but the likelihood is that you'll lose money on that trade. All right. Now, how high could we go once we get past the all-time highs? Just keep in mind all the shorts that still are holding short, right? We just saw, just based on CoinGlass, that there's at least $23 billion worth of shorts that are being held right now. That's a massive amount of shorts. That's crazy. It just keeps increasing. I don't know what they're seeing. I don't understand this idea that, hey, the shorts are going to be right. The price of Bitcoin is going to roll over, and they're all going to make oodles and oodles of money. I just don't see that happening. But on every dip, these shorts get more and more. But I thank you for your service. You keep adding that fuel to the fire. Let every faithless short be wrecked. That is my pledge.